comes and stops us in our tracks. Bravely we prove in our striving, trudging together each day. Where there's a will, there's a way.
Good afternoon, everybody, except California. Still be morning there, right? Or should I say the West Coast? So, I had a little self-care today and slept in. Yesterday was really tough for me. I'm doing a lot better today. But it was tough. And you know what? It was tough. But remember, I talked about advocating for yourself yesterday. And that's kind of a lot of what I did. One point I was coming in the house after checking the mail, and there were some people that were walking down the street selling something. I don't know what it was. They were just next door. I was just getting ready to walk up to my door. I knew they were coming to my door. And I turned around and I said, hey, you guys, I'm having a very high anxiety day. Do you mind skipping me? And they had no problem with it. So thank you, millennials. Thank you for understanding. Because they were millennials. They were younger than me. Let's just say that. So, and I found that when I let people know what I'm going through, and it doesn't have to be huge or anything like that, that they will take the time and meet me where they're at, meet me where I'm at. I've noticed that. Doesn't happen all the time. Okay. So what do? Just don't put that expectation there, but advocate for yourself. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. So, all right. If you're here, please say hello, whether you're watching the live or the rewatch. And of course, welcome to the Daily Trudge. I will be your host. And I'm Dion. Yes, I'm talking slowly to wait for people to come on. There was another thing that I saw that I just posted. Well, no, I just saw it. And it said, I'm tired of watching alcohol and drugs take my friends and family. It made me think of my daughter. And this disease can be very strange because when I was drinking, she did nothing but want me to stop drinking. But once I stopped drinking, she took over. And then the opposite happened. She didn't want to be around me because I was sober. Hey, Patricia. Yeah, it's showing your name this time. That's awesome. Probably depends on where you hook up from. My camera was off a little bit. I think I need to reset it. So my point on that is when my mom quit drinking, I took over. And I'm finding that my daughter did the same thing I did as a kid. And she doesn't really know that much about my history. She just wasn't interested in it. It's weird how it's following that line, but I pray for my daughter every day. You guys know how it is. When it's friends and family, it's harder. And there's not anything I can do about it because I'm too close. What I've let her know is I don't care if you're drinking and using drugs. I mean, I do, but that doesn't mean I don't want a relationship with my daughter. I don't believe in tough love. I don't do the tough love route. I can't. I won't. Because tough love fucked me up. So I don't utilize it. So today, let's get to I am an instrument. And no, this doesn't make you a trumpet or a trombone or stupid dad joke or silly dad joke. Not stupid, right? I didn't call myself stupid, so I'm not apologizing. All right. So we are going to read out of the 12 by 12 on the 7th step. I'm just going to start at the beginning on page 70. How long is this? Okay. I wasn't going to read all the way through, but it's kind of long. So, step 7, humbly asked him to remove our shortcomings, him being a power greater than yourself, or what I like to call the big HP. Since this step is so specifically concerns itself with humility, we should pause here to consider what humility is and what the practice of it can mean to us. Indeed, the attainment of greater humility is the foundation principle of each of AA's 12 steps. For without some degree of humility, no alcoholic can stay sober at all. And that's, you'll hear me say, I need God all the time. I need him 24 hours a day because he keeps me sober. He's the one that lifted the obsession from me. And I can trust in God to keep me sober each day. Some people think after a while, you don't know. I don't care. I don't care how much time I have. I will always practice that because it has humility in it. It puts my mind in the right place so that I can help other people. It does. There's a lot of benefits to humility. So I utilize it a lot. Humility can provide you with dopamine. Okay? That's what we're striving for, dopamine, because that's stuff that makes us happy. Okay? Is striving for happiness really what we should be striving for? I think balance is more what I strive for. That means that doesn't mean that I'm not happy. It means that I don't get overexcited about things, because that can spell danger for me. All right? All right. All right. All right. Nearly all the AAs have found too that unless they develop much more of this pressure quality than may be required just for sobriety, they still haven't much of a chance of becoming truly happy. Without it, they cannot live too much useful purpose or in adversity to be able to summon the faith that can meet any emergency. I had a friend, you know, sorry, but my eyelashes are, I have these long, supple eyelashes and I hate them. I do. They're always in my eyeballs. They're always crinked. I can always see a hair sticking out. Drives me crazy. All right. I can see again. So let's just go ahead and get back to the book because I forgot what I was talking about. So humility as a word and as an ideal has a very bad time of it in our world. Not only is the idea misunderstood, the word itself is often intensely disliked. And the reason it's intensely disliked is because we think that humility and the word humiliation go together, and they do not. They are two separate words. Okay? Humiliation is when you fall in front of a bunch of your peers. Here's another example. When I was like 15 years old, I was walking into the mall. I'm all cool, got my jean jacket on, my high tops. All right, the cool kids are over there. I'm walking by. Hey, dude, what's up? I spit on myself. Okay, and it landed on me. And I was on pass. I was known as the bad boy. I wasn't. Really wasn't. It was just circumstances that came across that way. Now, that was humiliation. And to this day, I still remember it, right? Because it was humiliating. They made fun of me. Oh, my glass is green. That's kind of cool. Ooh, ghost drink. Ooh. I'm sorry. Humility is something entirely different. It is surrender. It is. I'm going to tell you what humility was for me. Giving up my old life. God, I was wrong. And guess what? Being wrong made me right. Weird. Okay. Now, we call them paradoxes, but really they're not. We've just been taught wrong. We have been naive to certain things like humility. Humility just means I'm humbling myself. Let's ask Google. Let's do that. That way we get a good separation. Humiliation.
Here's the definition of humiliation: the action of humiliating someone or the state of being humiliated.
Right? All right. Humble.
Here's the definition of humble: having or showing a modest or low estimate of one's own importance.
Just being okay with just being another AA member. That was humble. Humility.
Here's the definition of humility: a modest or low view of one's own importance. Humbleness.
Same thing. Okay. Humbleness, humility go together. Humiliation, nope. That's something entirely different. I call that stuff gaslighting. So, being humble just means you're thinking less of yourself. It means it's the third step, promises, where you're thinking more and more of what you could contribute to life. That's being humble. Because you're putting your own shit aside in order to help somebody else. Okay? Many people haven't even a nodding acquaintance with humility as a way of life. Much of the everyday talk we hear and a great deal of what we read highlights man's pride in his own achievements. You know, I used to think that my wife was, when I first met her, I used to think that what she was weak. But I was so wrong. She has been utilizing humbleness in her life since the day I met her. And what she was an example of it. It's just that I wasn't willing to see it for what it was. Okay? I didn't understand it. See, that's how other people work different than us. Okay? Don't go telling your normie husband or wife or what do you call it, partner, to do a 4-step. Who the fuck do you think you are? No. With great intelligence, men of science have been forcing nature to disclose her secrets. The immense resources now being harnessed promise such a quantity of material blessings that many have come to believe that a man-made millennium lies just ahead. Poverty will disappear, and there will be such abundance that everybody can have all the security and personal satisfaction he desires. No, that hasn't happened, but that's Star Trek. Notice nobody on Star Trek makes money. That's because their stuff is provided for already. Okay? That's the concept behind the Federation. So, the theory seems to be that once everybody's primary instincts are satisfied, there won't be much left to quarrel about. We all know that ain't true. That is not true. The world will then turn happy and be free to concentrate on culture and character. Solely by their own intelligence and labor, men will have shaped their own destiny. Certainly no alcoholic and surely no member of AA wants to depreciate material achievement. No, we don't. I'm happy for you that you got your new car. That's about the extent of it. Other than that, I don't care. I don't care much for material stuff. I do and I don't. I mean, I don't need that much. Okay? And even if I did get $1 million, yes, I would take care of myself first, and then the rest would go to something else. I wouldn't be able to hold on to that. Okay? I would feel the need to give it away. after I'd taken care of my wife and kids. Okay, priorities. Because my kids are the same way too. That if I provided for their needs, all they would do is go out and do service work. That's what my son and my stepdaughters would do that. Um, I don't know if my daughter would or not. She might. She has a given heart. She's just stuck in the throes of addiction. So, nor do we enter into debate with the many who still so passionately cling to belief that to satisfy our basic natural desires is the main object of life. But we are sure that no class of people in the world ever made a worse mess of trying to live by this formula than alcoholics. For thousands of years, we have been demanding more than our share of security, prestige, and romance. When we seemed to be succeeding, we drank to dream still greater dreams. When we were frustrated, even in part, we drank for oblivion. Never was there enough of what we thought we wanted. In all these strivings, so many of them well intentioned, our crippling handicap have been our lack of humility. We had lacked the perspective to see that character building and spiritual values had to come first, and that material satisfactions were not the purpose of living. Quite characteristically, we had gone all out in confusing the ends with the means. Instead of regarding the satisfaction of our material desires as the means by which we could live and function as human beings, we had taken these satisfactions to be the final end and aim of life. So, all our instinctual needs we thought were the end and the get all of life. That if we just clamor for this and clamor for that, we'd sit on our throne and be the kings. We made it. You can't take any of that stuff with you. Right? This is why we talk about taking care of the spiritual malady first. Okay? I've worked with all types of people, a lot of homeless. Okay? And the homeless ask for less. When I work with a homeless person, they don't ask me for shit. They don't. Because they understand that really all they need is a roof over their head. And I am going to do that. Here's the thing, is when you take care of the spiritual malady, everything else falls into place, including if you're homeless. I've known people that are a few years sober, homeless, can't manage to get off the streets. Nobody willing to help. Right? That's because they understood the spiritual malady came first. Now, I like putting a roof over their head before I start recovery, because their chances of staying sober go up by like 25-30%. That I've noticed. I've never done any like real tracking or anything on it, but I'm pretty astute and I can see these things. And I was homeless, so I know this. I've experienced it. That's how I know it's true. Okay? When I finally asked God to remove those things blocking me from Him and the sunlight of the Spirit, I embarked on a journey more glorious than I ever imagined. I experienced a freedom from those characteristics that had me wrapped up in myself. Because of this humbling step, I feel clean. Right? That's what we're coming back around to. You are getting rid of all these things so that you're in the sunlight of the Spirit and you can be an instrument of God. What is being an instrument of God? That means go to meetings, talk to people, use this. Hey, God, give me the right words here and help somebody out. It really is that simple. I am especially aware of this step because I'm now able to be useful to God and my fellows. I know that he has granted me strength to do his bidding and prepared me for anyone and anything that comes my way today. I'm truly in his hands, and I give thanks for the joy that I can be useful today. That's what it's about. That you get to wake up each day and be more useful to the people around you. Isn't that neat? Because before we used to wake up each day and it was just getting worse and worse and worse. And yeah, some days you might feel like you take 2 steps forward and 4 steps back. That's okay. That's life. And it certainly isn't a reason to drink. Right. I will be back tomorrow for the daily reflections or the daily trudge. I still call it the daily reflections. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Patricia, it was good to see you. Thank you for being here. I love you guys. Peace out and have a day.